Hi everyone, welcome back. Scarlett here again, and we're continuing with the Abductor. Today, chapter 2. Sorry I didn't get to it last week. I had visitors come up from Georgia and, had to be with them. So, sorry. I'll do 2 this week, make up for it. Okay, guys? Sorry. Jumping right in, chapter 2, Reconnecting. At 7 p.m., Damien realizes he needs to get ready for his dinner meeting with Victoria Olette and heads back upstairs to take a shower. Meanwhile, Dan hears the water running through the pipes. He wants to try to make another run for it. While he continues to move, he notices that Damien never turned off the radio. He should be able to try to move around without having to worry about making too much noise. Dan continues to struggle but manages to fall off the table, hitting the floor, knocking over a tub of water. He tries to crawl his way towards the stairs. Dan starts to bleed from his ankles, and his blood mixes with the water as he struggles to reach the stairs while hitting and bumping everything along the way. He's almost to the stairs when he bumps into another table, knocking down the radio into the water, electrocuting Dan to death as Damien comes out of the shower. Damien rushes down the stairs as the light flickers on and off for a few seconds before going off completely soon after. When he reaches the door, the smell of burnt flesh takes over the place as he knows something went wrong while he was in the shower. Damien walks into the room and turns on the circuit breaker with a disgusted look on his face. He sees Dan dead on the floor. He walks back upstairs, leaving the body on the floor. He's late for the dinner meeting. Damien, disappointed with a lot of things on his mind, leaves the house and heads toward the restaurant. But he's distracted. He has just lost his friend over a stupid accident. Upon arriving, he's stunned by the way Victoria looks, causing him to forget about Dan and to completely focus on her and their evening together. Victoria rushes over towards him and gives him a hug out of excitement. Wow, you haven't changed at all in the last 20 years. Thank you, Damien, but you have changed a lot. Now that you were bad looking in high school, I can't believe how much more handsome you have become in the last 20 years, Victoria replies. Thanks, but I owed everything to my work ethic and hobbies. That's amazing work and dedication, Victoria replies. I'm sorry to cut this little conversation short, but do you mind if we eat right now? I haven't had time to eat all day. I was taking care of some things after our conversation. Not at all, my dear. I'm hungry too, Victoria answers. They go to the table and place their order as they start talking about their time in high school. Victoria laughs as she recalls the time they went out on their first date. While admitting she was extremely nervous, she had wanted him to try something on her that night. He had refused, and as he was the perfect gentleman. Damien looks at her and smiles, telling her he isn't always the perfect gentleman that she once knew. She laughs it off and tells him that he has always been proper. As they stare into each other's eyes, their appetizers arrive and they focus more on the food than the chemistry brewing between them. They discuss the business end of the meeting. Damien, I'm so sorry to bring you here like this, especially when I know where your office is located, Victoria begins. Nonsense. There's no problem with that. Besides, it gives us a chance to catch up on old times. It also provides the opportunity to make things right between old friends. Indeed it does. It has been great seeing you again, but honestly, it caught me a bit off guard when you called and agreed to meet me. I didn't think you would, Victoria continues. Now, come on. The past is long gone. I have no desire or need to hold it against you anymore. People will make mistakes. It's a part of life. I understand that. Besides, I'm a firm believer that the mistakes we make will make us better and help us understand life in a brighter light. That's very true, Victoria answers. Come on, tell me. What can I do for you? Okay, I can't keep going around the bush, so here it goes. I need a loan of $2.8 million so I can buy the house of my dreams. I work hard and I make a significant amount of money, and I should be able to pay you back within the next 2 years at the latest, Victoria answers. That's a lot of money that you're asking for. I honestly don't know what to tell you, given you have no documentation of employment. All you're presenting me is your word. Now, off that, given that we had no communication for the last 20 years, I cannot make a decision so important in the spur of the moment just because we've shared a few laughs. I understand, Damien. I really do. But I need the money by the end of the week or someone else is going to buy it before I get the chance. I would do anything to get that house, and I too mean anything, Victoria replies, winking at him. Are you coming on to me? Would it help me get the loan? Victoria answers. To be clear, I'm not willing to throw around my money just because an old flame wants to buy a house. Come on, Damien. How about this? You lend me the money from your own personal account. That way I don't have to pay any interest on the loan, Victoria asks. You want me to give you a loan from my personal account, which I won't gain anything in return because you really want that house? Damien answers as he laughs. I wouldn't say it's a no-win situation. You'll get your money back within the next 2 years. You'll also have me for the rest of the night, and we can do whatever you want with me, Victoria replies. Well, since you put it that way, I guess it would be rude to turn that down. Once we're done here, we need to head to my house so we can get started. I'll give you the money in the morning. Why wait for dinner? Victoria asks. Oh, so you're in a rush. Let's go now then. I know something we can do that will have us both dying with excitement, Damien answers as he leaves the cash for the meal on the table. They each jump in their cars, with Victoria following Damien to his house. He didn't want to give her the address. On their way to the house, they pass by his bank. She looks in awe at how beautiful the building is as they turn onto the highway. She calls him to let it be known she recognizes the bank as the one in his portfolio, that she's impressed, to which he replies with a laugh and appreciates the gesture. He lets her know to turn at the next exit and they will be at his house within 5 minutes. Once at the house, Damien tells her to make herself comfortable. He excuses himself out of the room so he can straighten things out in the bedroom before taking things any further. Victoria roams around the house looking to see if she can find things of value and guess their worth. Before deciding what to do next, she heads into the kitchen where she sees a door that one would imagine leads to the basement. Slowly, she walks toward the door, and just as she is about to open the door, she hears a noise that stops her in her tracks. She quietly heads back to the living room to wait for Damien to return. In the meantime, he's now in the master bathroom and proceeds to the closet where he slides one of the walls into another towards a hidden doorway. He heads to the basement to grab a few items that he has out of the view of that help when they clean his room. No one can know what he does in his private and discreet moments. While waiting on his return, Victoria grows anxious. She swings her legs back and forth, hitting the floor as she brings them back to her. He hears the shoes hitting the floor and grabs a black bag, sitting in the corner with a smirk on his face. He turns back into the hidden passage. Victoria bites her fingernails but tries to remain calm. She didn't see anyone come inside the house with them and believes they're alone. Closing her eyes and resting her head against the couch, she hears Damien call out to her. She jumps off the couch as he tells her to come up in a few minutes. He's putting the finishing touches in the room for their little adventure. She's happy to hear his voice and cannot contain her excitement. When she replies, she'll be ready whenever he is. This will be one hell of an interesting night. 3 minutes go by. Damien calls Victoria again to let her know that it's all ready for her. The adventure can begin. She runs up the stairs as she isn't fond of being left alone downstairs. Amazed by all the candles and rose petals placed around the bed, she stops at the doorway, speechless. He's standing there with a bottle of wine in his hands and the black bag on the nightstand. Overtaken with emotions, she asks him if she can use the bathroom to take a shower. He kindly answers that he'll be patient, but eagerly awaits her return. He grabs the black bag and empties the items onto the bed as she walks into the bathroom and turns on the shower. Realizing he has a few extra minutes now, he covers the items and heads downstairs to grab a couple more. He walks toward the kitchen where he picks up a butcher knife from the garage. He grabs a stun gun from the car's glove compartment. He goes back upstairs. Now that he has reloaded with an extra sense of excitement, relieved to see she's still in the bathroom, he has time to take the knife. He has time to hide the knife between the mattress and place the stun gun behind a lamp on the nightstand. After hiding the stun gun, he realizes there's an awful smell in the room and looks around to locate the foul aroma. Unable to find where the smell is coming from, he knocks on the bathroom door to ask her if she's okay. She responds that she has a stomach ache and she'll be out in a few minutes, understanding she's in pain and she'll indeed blow up the bathroom. He tells her to take her time. He's going to make a run to the store and asks if she needs anything. She replies, no thank you. She'll be ready for him once he gets back. He quickly heads out of the room, not before grabbing the stun gun since it is in plain sight. As soon as Damien leaves the room, Victoria jumps back into the shower. She cracks the window in the shower to let the smell out of the bathroom. After several more minutes, she finally jumps out of the shower and snips around the room like a thief in the middle of the night. As she's looking around, she's struck by the smell coming out of the bathroom. Unwilling to leave the room because she's scared to go downstairs, she looks in the closet and finds a few extra candles to get rid of the stench in the room. Victoria lights the candles and places one in each corner of the room and two in the bathroom. Once she finishes with the candles, she goes back to looking around the room for a safe. By the time she reaches the second guest room, she hears another noise in the house. As she runs back into the master bedroom and hides underneath the covers shivering, she wonders if the house is haunted. Damien, in the meantime, is slowing down the car near a dark alley where he sees a homeless man trying to bundle up with a few garbage bags and some newspapers. He stares at the man, trying to keep warm as he parks the car. Seeing that the man is actually moving in his sleep, Damien feels bad for him and gets out of the car. Eager to see why he's out there living like this, Damien walks up to him and sees a homeless man who is a little overweight and has a dirty face with a tattoo underneath the dirt. Hello there, sir, Damien says without an answer. Sir, wake up, Damien says again. Sir, get up. Damien becomes frustrated as he isn't getting a reply. Come on, get up, you damn lazy piece of shit, Damien yells as he grabs the bottle next to him. Extremely frustrated, Damien strikes the man across the face, smashing the bottle into pieces. Finally, there's a reaction from the homeless man as he opens his eyes with a glazed look on his face. Not knowing what's happening, he quickly points out that he has nothing of worth. Upset that it had to get to this point, Damien quickly jumps the man, beating on him with some ground and pound, followed by some stomping on the man. After the beating stopped, Damien looks to the man who has no clue as to what's going on. He's intoxicated and was rudely and viciously woken up by this attack. Damien reaches into his pocket, pulling out the stun gun and turning it on at full capacity. He releases the charge onto the homeless man, causing him to urinate himself. He struggles to get up off the ground but can't. The man cries, struggling and trying to get up. He crawls toward the closest wall, now back on his feet, but only because he's leaning against the wall. He notices Damien right there in front of him without saying a word, charging the stun gun once again with a smirk. The man tries to run away down the dark alley. He looks back to make sure he isn't being followed. He stumbles on some garbage, slipping head first onto a broken pipe sticking out of the wall, which kills him instantly. Damien walks up to the man to see if there's anything that can be done to help save him, but he quickly notices there's no way he can save him. He calmly walks down the alley to make sure that there's no evidence he was there or about the beating he gave him. He remembers he grabbed the bottle barehanded, so he grabs the neck of the bottle off the floor, realizing he let his temper get the best of him. He gets into the car and refocuses on Victoria. Damien finally gets home around 11:30 p.m. and goes straight to the bedroom where he notices Victoria hiding under the covers with the candles still burning. He now decides to have a little fun with her. He turns on the lights and yells her name, causing her to jump out of the bed, screaming. Damien laughs. Upset that he scared her, she jumps back into the bed and crawls underneath the covers. He slowly walks over to her as she pops her head out from underneath the covers. Well, why are you looking at me like that? Victoria asks. Actually, I'm waiting for my invitation. Okay, come on in, she says, and he climbs into bed. Damien kisses her neck while using his fingertips to caress the right side of her body. She moans and scratches his back. He licks her nipples as she reaches down to unbuckle his pants to push them off. She rips his shirt off him, which surprises him. He lets out a smile as she jumps on top of him. She can see the dark passion in his eyes as she straddles him, placing him inside her. He squeezes her breasts as thrusts deeper and deeper while the moans grow louder by the second. He reaches over to the nightstand and grabs the burning candle. He pours the wax onto her as she grins. The wax goes down her body onto his. Now he puts her face first onto the mattress and pulls her by the hair as he bites her back and neck, dosing harder and harder. While he continues to caress her back, he pours more wax onto her entire back. He reaches underneath the pillow, pulling out the pair of handcuffs before she even realizes. He quickly cuffs her and turns her onto her back. Despite his intentions and having full control of the situation, he places nipple clamps on her. He squeezes them to make them tighter as she screams and asks him to lighten up the grip a bit. He thrusts her into the missionary position, and now until she forgets about the pain and gets caught up in the heat of the moment. As he continues to have his fun, he slaps her and bites her breast, causing a bruise. He releases on her thighs as she moans in ecstasy. Once they're finished, Damien goes to the kitchen and grabs several bottles of water for them. Damien drinks his water and jumps into the bed with Victoria. He hands her a bottle and rests his head on the pillow and falls asleep while trying not to take his eyes off of her. Victoria drinks her water and rolls him onto his back so she can rest her head in his arms as she too falls fast asleep. It is now 3:45 a.m. Victoria wakes up only to look for the safe once more. She walks around the dark room. Damien reaches over to put his arm over her and notices that she isn't in the bed. He looks at the bathroom, but the door is open and the room is dark. He listens and hears footsteps in the hallway and furniture being pushed quietly. He gets out of the bed and walks over to his pants so he can grab the stun gun. He walks into the dark hallway with a weapon charged and crawls throughout the upstairs, stalking and hunting her as he patiently waits for her to turn around. She walks out of one room and heads into another without noticing him. He doesn't proceed any further, but instead elects to stay there, patiently waiting for her to return. Tired of looking around in the dark, she decides she is better off waiting to look around in the daylight. The moment she closes the door to the room and feels her way back to the master bedroom, she notices Damien right in front of the room, aiming the gun at her head. Before she manages to get a word out, he fires the charge at her, knocking her out. Damien grabs the unconscious body, places her wrists in handcuffs and a bandana over her mouth, the black bag over her head. He needs to go to work in the morning. While he tries to sleep, he keeps waking up. He has all these ideas of what he could do to her and how much pleasure it will bring to him and to her as well. He tosses and turns to the point he's thinking about staying up all night. There's so much to do and so very little time. He decides to stay in bed for a few more minutes to see what else comes to his mind. Finally, he decides to get out of the bed at 5 a.m. to start his daily workout routine. At this point, he isn't concerned with Victoria. She's in a secured room and cannot be looking around the house. He goes to his workout room so he can clear his mind. He decides it's probably best that he doesn't go out for his daily jog. He finishes his workout routine closer to 5:50 a.m. He's pumped to start the day with some fun and to look at life with a new light. A saying his father once told him. When Damien was growing up, his father used to tell him to live each day as if it were your last, and to always, no matter what happens with your life, you must always cherish your life, the life you have. It's the only one you have. He couldn't get the saying out of his head as he sat there thinking of a way to get things to turn out for the best. He realizes it's getting late. He needs to handle Victoria as soon as possible. He heads over to the room she's in and throws her inside a cage with 6 rats. "Wake up, beautiful," Damien says to no response. "Come on. I know you can hear me, gorgeous. I have a surprise for you," Damien continues as she opens her eyes. What happened to me?" she asks as she comes to. "You got busted sneaking through my house looking for something after I extended an invitation to you, and you pay me back with disrespect." "What? I'm sorry. I think there has been a mistake, Damien. I know the only mistake was..." you thinking that once you came over here, you could get to my money and leave. You got it all wrong, Damien. You cannot keep me here, and especially not like this, Victoria answers. And who is going to stop me? You? There's nothing you can do or say that's going to make the slightest bit of difference towards what I feel for you. As you look down past your naked body, you will see what's in the cage with you, Damien says with a smile. Oh my God, what the F is that? Victoria yells. My dear, those are city rats. Don't act like you don't know what they are. Usually they're rabid. So if I were you, I would make sure not to bother them so they don't bite you, Damien answers with a laugh. Why are you doing this? I'm sorry, I was looking for the safe. I swear, Victoria says, crying frantically. Listen, Victoria, this really has nothing to do with you trying to steal my money or that I knew you had an agenda when you wanted to come meet me for dinner. This is something that would happen to you sooner or later. Honestly, I'm happy you contacted me first. Now I don't feel as guilty as I would have if I were to make the first move. You made it simple for me, and for that, I'm truly thankful. Also, for the last time, before you ask me again, there's no way in hell I'm going to let you leave my house. As of now, you're my personal property until the day I die. No! Victoria screams. Her outburst triggered the rats and scratched her legs, biting her toes. Damien sits on a chair near the cage, amazed by how quickly she suffered her meltdown. She struggles to find a way to prevent any more damage to her toes and legs. It seems the more she looks for a way to climb the cage, the angrier the rats become. Damien gets out of a chair and walks over to the nearby table. As he rests on the table, he pulls on a lever that hoists the cage off the floor and elevates it closer to the ceiling. He mocks her cries and pleas for help. Victoria grabs the roof of the cage to pull herself off the floor while the rats look up at her. Believing she has outsmarted Damien, he smiles and nods in approval as he walks underneath the cage and spins it. You really think I didn't think of everything? He walks back to the lever. She feels dizzy and nauseous as the cage spins, and she struggles to keep her composure. Damien flips the lever, causing the cage to crash down to the ground. The rats panic once the cage is on the ground, biting and scratching Victoria. She couldn't hold her balance once it hit the floor and now tries to fight them away from her face. Damien once again walks back toward the cage and he kicks it 3 times, catching her attention and infuriating the rats. Concerned about her face, she tries to cover up. Every time she pushes one away, another one comes closer and faster than the previous one. Damien, watching the struggle, informs her she'll be inside the cage all day. He hopes she can find comfort in the fact that he'll return later tonight. Unhappy with the news, she screams and kicks the floor of the cage, trying to pop it open. The only thing she accomplishes is irritating the rats, causing them to panic even more. The rats go on the attack, biting and scratching her entire body. Victoria is concerned with contracting rabies or other illnesses. Damien watches her fight them off as he informs her not to worry. She'll never leave this house, not even in death. He now owns her very soul. Trying to find her composure, Victoria is unable to stop the continuing attack on her body, but she seems to be distracted by what Damien just said. Leaving her in a state of shock, she snaps out of her episode with a new problem. They need to use the bathroom. Unable to hold it any longer and fight them off at the same time, the urine pours down her legs onto the rats. They go on to attack her more ferociously. Several hours have gone by without seeing or hearing Damien in the house. The rats now just walk around rubbing against her. She needs to go to the bathroom once more. It isn't pee this time, and she's afraid of how the rats will react to her dropping a load near them. She tries to focus on holding it until Damien returns, but she finds it almost impossible since she hasn't gone to the bathroom since last night. She pinches her buttocks as she doesn't have a place to sit to make it more comfortable. After 25 minutes of holding it, she's sweating and has developed a stomachache. As a result, she drops it slowly. She tries to catch it without bothering the rats, but is unable to deal with the pain. The load hits the floor, causing the rats to go crazy as the load landed on a few of them. A few others walked into the mess all over the floor. Annoyed and dirty, the rats climb on her legs again as they bite and scratch her once more, getting feces into the wounds now. Okay, so that is the end of chapter 2. The next time we will be doing chapter 3. More than likely it will be tomorrow, but it may be Friday. I'm not sure. Depends on what the day holds. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, share it with your friends. Let them know about the horror stories that keep coming out and that I keep doing. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Damien. Let me know what you think about me. If I'm doing okay. That's it. Please like, share, subscribe. Come back again. See y'all later. Bye.